clásicos nog ruinerna.
Out of jail, back on the streets, fight the friends, make some beats, play guitar, and write some rhymes, write a song, and work part-time, write a song, work shifts, write a song, work shifts, work shifts.
Hello, my friends. Operator Starsky here. As always, it's a big pleasure to stream for you guys. Please tell me if my sound is okay. I really hope that it is. Tonight, we have quite a few people here in the chat. As always, it's very cool to see familiar names. And also, wait a minute, let me check. Yeah, I can hear myself. Good. We have Europe, we have Americas, both North and South. We also have people from Australia, New Zealand, and Asia, and basically all around the world. Cambodia. Guys, it's always a pleasure to see so many people from all around the world. Okay. So we have several updates here. Let me just scroll through the most recent news that we have, and then we will talk about what I did here in Sweden, all the affairs and sketchy stuff that I experienced. So first of all, we have several reports from Chasiv Yar and Klishivka in Ukraine. Let's switch real quick to the map. Here we are, and here we are. All right. So here in Chasiv Yar, yesterday it was reported that some big Russian offensive was expected, as we were talking basically last week. The Russians are trying to occupy Chasiv Yar and surround it from north and south, from those flanks. And yesterday, according to the radio interceptions, some big Russian offensive was expected there. As of now, the situation is stabilized. We know that Russians failed, basically. And also, it was really hard in the area of Klishivka. It's a small village south of Bakhmut, as we see. So the guys on the ground reported that situation. Oh my God, I lost my phone. Situation was really hard. Plenty of gliding bombs, plenty of airstrikes. But at the same time, it seems that Russians abandoned all of their attempts to develop their offensive on the south. We're talking about Robotyne, Kherson, those areas, and they concentrated in Donbass area. There's plenty of attacks happening today all around the front line between Kharkiv and Bakhmut, basically. So that Donbass span of the front line is very hot today. So this is shortly on the situation there. The guys are holding, and Russians have no success in that area. Boeing and Antonov announced that they will be working on producing new surveillance drones. And apparently the factory will be located in Ukraine. I'm not sure as of now, but it's really cool to see that such huge companies as Ukrainian Antonov and Boeing decided to collaborate and produce something together, it's absolutely amazing. Also, the United States warned to sanction Indian companies that cooperate with sanctioned Russian companies, which is again is good news. So they announced that in case there are such cases of such cooperation, they will be cut off from the Western market, basically from the American market, American finances. And the most recent update from India is that Indian Prime Minister announced that Indian Prime Minister will visit Ukraine next month for the first time since the beginning of the Russian invasion. And basically for the first time since, I don't know, when was the last visit of Indian Prime Minister to Ukraine? Quite a while ago, actually. It's good. It's a good news because recently we saw that such individuals as Orban, for example, also visited Ukraine. We never expected to see him here. Also, I believe that maybe some time in the future, CRT himself will also visit Ukraine. Those people must see what happens in Ukraine themselves in order to understand. Saki and Novofedorivka in Crimea, two big air bases on the territory of temporary occupied Crimea, Ukraine, were hit by Ukrainian flying objects. And also today, two Russians were arrested in Hamburg, Germany. So over the past, I would say, probably 3 months, quite a few Russians were arrested in Europe, in France specifically. One was arrested in Paris, in France, because they were preparing terrorist acts in Europe, in the European space. Several Russians were arrested because they were planning to kidnap and assassinate several people on the territory of the European Union. And those two Russians that were arrested in Hamburg, they were accused in financing ISIS. I have my very own opinion on connection between Russia and ISIS because every single time some shit happens in Russia, either they commit some crime or whatever, there's always ISIS terrorist act taking place either in Russia or on the territory of the European Union. I'm not saying that FSB rules or controls ISIS, but in my personal opinion, they have connection one way or another. And recently, Solovyov is a Russian propagandist. He has this amazing show in Russia called Solovyov Live, where they spread their fakes and propaganda. And in this TV show, one of the Russian propagandists, Karnaukhov, called Azerbaijan a fake country, basically fake like Ukraine, according to this propagandist, and it's a very, very bad sign, because when Russians start calling your country a fake country, it means that you should expect some kind of problems, at least informational warfare, and at max something worse. In Kursk, drunk orcs, it's from the Russian media, in Kursk, drunk orcs shot a civilian vehicle. Basically, Bucha strikes back. Karma is a bitch. And speaking of karma, a big dam in Chelyabinsk Here we have it. Big dam in Chelyabinsk collapsed, and Chelyabinsk Oblast is getting flooded. So, as you see, karma works. Karma actually works. What else? You know, when you bring a war to a foreign country, when you bring death and disaster, you are doomed to bring all that shit back home on the soles of your boots. Yesterday, there was a big drone strike on Ukrainian civilian infrastructure, and there were reports that several drones exploded on the territory of Romania. Romania denies that their air defense were shooting down drones, but there's plenty of video footage showing literally explosions on the territory of Romanian border. Which, well, I don't have enough information to criticize or not criticize this message, but we have what we have. And Olympics are opening today. Preparing this stream, I was watching the opening of Olympics in Paris, France, and it was amazing. Of course, there's Ukrainian team. As you see, the very opening was fantastic. Those ships with the teams on board, it was really, really cool. And we tried to spot those neutral athletes, the Russian terrorists, and they were not there. Apparently, they were banned from participating in the grand opening, which is again fantastic. For those who say that sport is besides politics, right? Unfortunately, it's not like that. Unfortunately, majority of the Russian sportsmen have military rank. Unfortunately, almost all of them are funded by the Russian Ministry of Defense. Unfortunately, quite a few of them travel around Russian military bases, Russian military units, promoting war against Ukraine, promoting all the pro-Russian narratives, because Russians need heroes, Russians need role models for their soldiers, and of course they have their sportsmen. And those bastards promote Russian terrorism among their soldiers. So I believe that banning them from participating in grand opening is a very, very nice idea. At the same time, they have their own Olympic Games. So basically, the BRICS countries decided to organize their own Olympic Games because Russia was kicked out from different competitions, and it's kind of cringy because I checked some of the Russian reports on those competitions, and it's so amazing because in some competitions Russians are only participants. That's why technically they win those competitions, and it's so freaking cringy. But what else do we have? Where is my Chelyabinsk, Saki? Okay, so we covered most of the news here. Right now there is an air alert in Ukraine. We know that a group of Shahids are flying over Kirovograd. Kirovograd. Oh my God. Kropivnitsky, Kirovohrad Oblast. We know that there's several Russian reconnaissance drones right now over Kherson, Kharkiv, Nikopol, and Dnipro. And we know that several of them fly over the Donetsk Oblast, over Novosilka and Dobropilya. And switching to Sweden, right now I am in Stockholm, Sweden. It's absolutely amazing place. I'm still here. I had offline meeting. I believe it was on Sunday or Monday. It was on Sunday. As soon as we arrived here, but unfortunately, not too many people managed to uh, attend the meeting. And again, it's something that I did for the first time in my life since I have this blog. Uh, One thing is, speaking to viewers through the screen, and another thing is speaking to people offline personally. And I think, of course, that offline meetings are very, very cool in this regard. And because not too many people managed to make it to this meeting, I decided to make another one tomorrow, which will take place in front of the ABBA Museum in Stockholm. So tomorrow, 5 p.m., I'll be like hanging around the museum with coffee, and I will be really, really happy to see everybody. So the reason I came to Sweden together with Angelika, she is a legendary German volunteer bringing cars from Europe to Ukraine and delivering them to our guys. So basically, thanks to her, this trip became possible. Yeah, ABBA Museum. I'll be there. And yes, Jed, I was at the conference. I'll talk about it in a while. So the reason we came here, of course, on the first place is because we decided to see Massa, and only after that, of course, Brandon. Jokes aside, we wanted to surprise Brandon, but when we arrived, it turned out we didn't warn him. But when we arrived, it turned out that he was not in Sweden, so he only arrived next day, which was kind of cringy. But nonetheless, we had some really, really cool time. We were walking Massa. We went to this place in Stockholm, to the sea. Massa was catching sticks from the water. And guys, it's such a lovely dog. I understand why Brandon loves Massa so much. She's so cool. And also, there was a birthday of one of my viewers, Anna. Again, was a big pleasure to meet her. It was a pleasure to meet Bengt and his wife, who showed us around Stockholm, some really, really nice places. And also, I had opportunity to visit the Museum of Vasa. Vasa was a Swedish flagship that sank more than 300 years ago. So basically, it was literally built, and then it made like several hundred meters and sank. And after 300 years, it was discovered, it was excavated from the bottom of the bay. Okay, and I had opportunity to visit the museum. It's just so you could understand my emotions, because this ship is freaking enormous, guys. It's a galleon, and galleons are freaking huge. The only ship I know that is bigger than galleon is probably Maneuver. It is insane. Just so you could see the size of it, comparing to people, it's enormous. So it was so cool to see it. I saw documentaries about Vasa long before the invasion started. I believe before the war began, and it was insane. So I had enormous pleasure. I went to the Viking Museum. I went to the Drinking Museum. I got acquainted with the Swedish drinking culture. To me, it was a shocking discovery that Absolute vodka was actually Swedish vodka. I had no clue. And also yesterday, I was invited to the municipality of Västerås, and we talked to the representatives of the defense sector and security sector about the Ukrainian experience. I told them a bit about the history of my brigade. I told them a bit about what we learned from the war, what we learned regarding the civil defense and things like that. And I believe that our Swedish colleagues will find this information useful. And I also really hope that they will never have to adopt or implement our wartime experience in Sweden or any other part of Europe or world. But again, who knows? Rick the Ukrainian here in the chat. Bro, as always, it's a pleasure to see you here. And basically that's it, guys. So, my God, where do I switch it off? Here. Let me check out, guys. Please leave your questions in the chat. It's really easy to filter them if you have like question mark in your commentary. How goes it? Leather Cat goes really well. I sleep like crazy. I don't know. I have some kind of condition. I think it's post-COVID, that I really need to sleep several times a day. I have no idea what happens to me, but I need to sleep at least like 12, 14 hours a day, and it's not really convenient. But we have what we have. Bruce, no surströmming this time, but fish in Sweden is amazing because it's very fresh. We had sushi with Brandon traditionally. Last time we had sushi, I believe it was in Hostomel in 2022 or 2023 in winter when we had a blackout, and he made an interview with me. Guten Abend, wie geht's? Es geht, danke. Everything's fine so far. Hi Starsky, what's your opinion on marijuana in Ukraine? I believe that it should be legalized for people who require it. That's my opinion. I don't do it because I like literally I don't like it. I worked really hard, for example, to become an alcoholic, to get addicted. I failed, even though I worked really hard, because alcohol is solution to all your problems, right? And before the invasion, I dedicated quite a lot of my time and efforts to become one, but unfortunately I failed dramatically. And same with marijuana. I tried like once in high school, and since that time, like no. But like it can eliminate a lot of problems related to corruption. It can eliminate a lot of problems related to organized crime. So I believe that we have to use the best practices of other countries. That's my opinion. What's your honest opinion about how the war is going? Can Ukraine win? Patrick, Ukraine can definitely win, and in order for it to achieve victory, Ukraine must receive military aid and financial aid. Those are two keys to winning the war. Also, we need other countries that support Ukraine to be more active and dedicated. Currently, the situation, and guys in Westeros asked me about it, currently the situation is following. Russia is aiming at long warfare that can stretch up to, I don't know, a decade probably. I believe maybe 8, maybe 10 years. Why it happens? Because Russia expected a very, very fast, very rapid victory over Ukraine. They expected blitzkrieg. They failed. It turned into a blitzkrieg for Russia, and since the time Russia is trying to stretch the warfare, because when all the people who support Ukraine, who talk about Ukraine, when they express their view about this war, they all, including all of the Ukrainians, they all want quick victory for Ukraine. Ukrainians want peace more than anybody in Europe, okay? We all want peace. But of course, we don't want to capitulate to Russia. We don't want to just, give them piece of Ukraine, piece of our land, hundreds of thousands of our homes. That's obvious. And today in Twitter I saw this report on this BRICS account that is like 100% ran from Russia, from Moscow apparently, where they say Ukraine is ready to negotiate with Russia. People who think that Ukraine needs to negotiate with Russia apparently have this very, very wrong opinion that Russia really, really wants peace. This is why Russia attacked Ukraine 2 years ago. Like, it's a bullshit. Russia doesn't want peace. Russia wants territory. And Russia must be punished. Russia must realize that it's impossible. Russia must realize that they cannot go unpunished. They should face responsibility for that. Their war criminals must be punished. They must be arrested and brought to The Hague. Unfortunately, when they stretch this warfare in time, it is very much demoralizing for all the people who support Ukraine, who stand for Ukraine, who root for Ukraine. It's a big and demoralizing plan, basically. And unfortunately, Russians, and specifically Vladolf Putler, they're very much dedicated. They are very much dedicated to win. They are very much dedicated to keep control over the captured territories, and they will do whatever it takes. They can fight for like several decades because they don't care about human lives. Unlike us, they don't have problems with freedom of speech. Unlike us, they don't have, democratic society. Like his slaves, also known as his population, do whatever he tells them to do. And it was like that in Russia for centuries. They got used to it. So unfortunately, democracy is very much vulnerable to misinformation. Democracy is very much vulnerable to people's opinion. And people who understand that this war brings like death and destruction and we're losing people, they will be saying that Ukraine must negotiate probably. But at the same time, Russians, they don't have those illusions. They don't care about human lives. They don't care about democracy, freedom of speech. They will keep fighting because they are very much dedicated to win. And we must be even more dedicated than them, because Ukrainians will also keep fighting. We want to live. We have absolutely no illusions about peace with Russia, because Ukraine was occupied by Russians for 70 years. We lost more than 10 million people over those years, let alone the war. I'm talking about the Russian repressions of the Ukrainian population. I'm talking about the genocide of Ukrainians during 3 Holodomors, three artificial famines that were conducted by Russians to literally eliminate big chunk of Ukrainian population. And unfortunately, Russians are much more dedicated than anybody else right now, except for Ukrainians probably. And that's a problem. That's why we have to keep ourselves motivated. We have to keep motivating each other because our existence, our survival depends on it. So that's my honest opinion. Patrick, thank you very much for this question. It's a very important question. Okay, Solovyov, hate monger in chief. Yes, that's the guy. That's the dude. That's one of the most prominent Russian propagandists, bullshitters on the Russian TV. You don't see much Solovyov in the Western media, of course, for obvious reasons, but in the Russian space, he's very, very much popular. Basically, what Solovyov says in his TV shows, all this reflects the Kremlin's agenda. If he talks about, Azerbaijan being a fake country, basically this is what Putin wants to talk about. This is what they talk about in Kremlin. This is what they want Russian society to talk about. So he's like retranslator of Kremlin's agenda, Kremlin's messages and narratives. Can Russia see Ukraine television? Basically, they can see plenty of Ukrainian channels through YouTube. It's easy. There's a lot of Ukrainian channels streaming live on the YouTube, but I doubt they really do that because, why? Also, a lot of Russians, they keep watching TV. I already forgot what it is, frankly speaking, because I don't watch TV since probably 2008. Seriously. Because with the YouTube, we have freedom to select what we want to see. Netflix, same stuff. Amazon TV, same stuff. But people in Russia keep watching TV in distant places, and distant places in Russia is basically 50 kilometers away from Moscow and St. Petersburg. There's all kinds of sketchy towns like Omsk, Khabarovsk, Ussurisk, Vladivostok. So, what is GTSY? It's good to see you, I believe. Okay, guys, I need your help with this. So, Ni Shopping, I believe this is how the city is called. I will not be visiting it, but I will be visiting North Shopping on a weekend. But I have some private business there. My relatives live there, so I have to visit them because I didn't see them for 16 years. Are there Mexican restaurants in Ukraine? Oh, and we're talking about my favorite topic now. Okay, so back in my days, in early 2000s, we had amazing restaurant called Babcia Conchita or Grandma Conchita, where you could order all kinds of stuff. You could order burritos, you could order chili con carne, beef ribs, things like that. No nachos, as far as I remember. No tacos, but maybe there were tacos, but I never ordered them. I had my my favorite stuff, which was burritos. They would bring big sombrero and piece of, oh my god, bread, lavash, tortilla, right? And in this sombrero, you had meat, you had veggies, and you could make burritos yourself. It was amazing. I tried to cook them myself this year, and they were not bad actually, because I learned how to cook this very very specific sauce with like plenty of garlic and cheese, you know. But later this restaurant closed, which was really bad because I already earned like a discount, and it was a big discount because I used to go there often. And since that time, the only Mexican food I saw was at Johnny FD's birthday in Kiev last year. That was that was it. But I really, really think that we need to open plenty of Mexican restaurants in Kiev, in Ukraine, because nachos and tacos, they are fantastic. They are so good. ABBA Museum. Check this out. In Stockholm, they have ABBA Museum. And I think it's well deserved, considering that ABBA is. You can hear ABBA singing in any given city of the world on a New Year, for example, or like rather New Year. Yeah. In Ukraine, we always play ABBA during winter holidays. Will you and Brandon do a stream together soon? I don't think it will happen soon, but I really hope that we'll be able to do that at least next month, because Brandon is really busy. He has a lot of really, really important things to do. I think that he will talk more about them himself, but we didn't really have time. Like, I wanted to stream with him, but at the same time, we had so much things to talk about, so many people and friends to talk about and gossip about, you know. So unfortunately, we didn't do that. When will you be on the Shield show again? I think next Saturday. Unfortunately, this Saturday I won't be online because this Saturday, which is tomorrow, I'll be meeting friends here in Stockholm, and there's a lot of friends to meet, trust me. Also, what is Swedish ice cream like? It's really cool. I had ice cream here in Stockholm. I had vanilla ice cream with chocolate. Never ever spoil good ice cream with chocolate, guys. Uh, but the ice cream wasn't bad. Um, how? Oh my God! How can I donate a car from Germany? It's not a cheek magnet anymore. Well, if you want to donate a car from Germany, you gotta, I think, contact some of your local charity or volunteer groups that work with Ukrainian units, because generally it's like that. Every volunteer organization, charity organization supporting Ukraine, they adopt some military unit in Ukraine. It can be like 95th Brigade, or uh, even better, or it can be 4th Brigade of the National Guard of Hostomel, right? So you gotta contact some of those guys that adopt and support those brigades directly and work with them. Maybe you should also contact NAFO 69 Sniffing Brigade. They also bring cars to Ukraine. So probably something like that. If you need contact, please text me, please write me an email, and I will contact you with the guys. What was your favorite food in Sweden? It was doner kebab. It was really good. So, or sushi. French fries and fish. It was nice. Uh, I didn't try fika. I tried. Oh my god! Today I tried beef steak with potato, fish chips. Guys, it was so amazing. But of course, nothing compared to surströmming. It was fantastic. It was perfecto. Uh, how do I help more? Um, it depends on what you can do, and different people with different capabilities or possibilities can help in a different way. If you can write commentaries, you can support people with commentaries, it counts, guys, because I told and I keep saying that because of this tremendous support, Ukrainians never felt abandoned since the beginning of the Russian full-scale invasion. And even such things as supportive commentaries, they do help. If you can fight Russian misinformation online, again, this is very important. You can do that. You can share Ukrainian content. You can share debunking videos. Again, this is also important. And if you can support Ukrainian soldiers with things like medical supplies, or you can support Ukrainian civilians or Ukrainian refugees in your country, there are so many things you can do. Best thing you can do is literally contact some kind of voluntary organization or charity organization that already supports Ukrainians for several years since the beginning of the invasion. And I'm talking about your local group. There's definitely some kind of volunteers operating in your area, collecting supplies for Ukrainians or doing other things. And you gotta contact them directly, Google them, find them in your area, and ask them what you can do. They know better. Can you give us a review of Brandon's bathroom on a scale of 1 to 10? I will give you a review of Brandon's bathroom when I get there. I promise. Did you find any good beer places in Stockholm? Let me think. There's a lot of places in Stockholm downtown, in the historical downtown. I always keep forgetting the name. Oh my god. For those who have never been to... Why do I open my phone if we have the map? Okay, let me see. I will use... I will use the deep state map because I can. Where it is? So this is Sweden. This is Stockholm. And here we have like old town, like this very place. Okay? And here you can find all kinds of castles and docks and piers, piers. You know what I'm talking about. And there's also quite a few restaurants in this whole area. So if you're in Stockholm, just go there and you will find plenty of places where you can drink beer and other beverage. Okay. And I heard a lot of opinions in the comments that, like, Sweden is not a like Stockholm specifically is not really a nice place. I don't understand why people say that. It's amazing place, amazing people, friendly people. and they are so supportive. For example, in Västerås, in the city hall, they have Swedish flag, they have European flag and Ukrainian flag. And Ukrainian flag was there since the beginning of the Russian invasion. So they are amazing. People in Stockholm every single Monday and Sunday also, I believe, they gather in the downtown to support Ukraine, to discuss, to talk about Ukraine, and they do it every single Monday since the beginning of the invasion. How cool is that? It's amazing. The support for Ukraine in Sweden is one of the highest around Europe. I I think it's absolutely fantastic. Okay, have you visited Gripsholm Castle west of Stockholm? I didn't look at the Gripsholm Lion, but we saw the old castle, like the very castle in the downtown. That is like the previous version burned with the king's body on the rooftop, I believe, or was he taken out? But new castle was built there. It's so cool, guys. In the downtown, there's this street that was built like 500 years ago. There's really, really old buildings. There's the oldest bank, still working bank, I believe, in Europe that was established in 17th century, 400 years ago, and it's still running. And it's so cool. You know, back in those days, you had to pay to the firefighters. That's what Bengt explained. You had to pay to the firefighters like every year, I believe, and then you would receive this specific sign that you would hang on your house, and that would mean that your house is protected by the firefighters. And if you have a fire, they would go and remove the fire. If you don't pay firefighters, well, help yourself. Which I find really, really interesting. Will Russia try to cross to the right bank of the Dnipro River to Kherson around Krinky? It's not really easy to do, actually. And again, according to the reports from our guys from the ground, they kind of, I believe, temporarily ceased attempts to advance in those areas, to develop any advances in the South Ukraine, in Kherson specifically, and they concentrated on the eastern span of the front line, specifically around Donbass. So they do a lot of attacks in order to distract attention, which they do often before developing big offensive, which I believe will take place in Chasiv Yar. So that is something that we should keep our eye on. Are other nations training new Ukrainian troops in Europe? I know about Germany. I know about the United Kingdom. That is something that I can confirm. Other countries, God. Those two countries I can confirm. As for the rest, I cannot really tell you. Are you still in Stockholm after Saturday? Oscar, unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, I will have to go. I miss Germany so much. Oh my God. I'm going home next, next week. Won't peace go home? Exactly. If Russians want peace, they should remove their troops from Ukraine, and they will have peace that very moment, that very day. What is happening in Sweden? Sweden, good things happen here. As I already mentioned, Monday I visited the meeting in the Stockholm downtown. It was absolutely amazing, guys. I didn't know about this event. I talked to Bengt, and he said that you gotta visit Monday meeting, and those meetings were established to support the Baltic countries back in those days, and now they support Ukraine since the very, very first day of the Russian invasion. There's all kinds of volunteers present, all kinds of organizations, Tactic Cats, Swedish rescuers. There's a lot of them. So those guys are doing a fantastic job. Thank you for your service and continued advocacy. We stand with you even after victory. What is the best thing you have eaten on this trip? I believe, I believe sushi. Not that I think that local food is bad. No, no, guys, local food is fantastic, but I literally like sushi. I can eat them like every single day, but they're expensive as fuck. Um, Ukraine also needs to liberate Ukrainians who are stuck in temporary Russian occupied regions. It is true because quite a lot of people still live there. They cannot leave. Um, it's very, very, and it was kind of not easy to leave the occupied areas even before the invasion when Donetsk Oblast and Luhansk Oblast were partially occupied by Russian hybrid troops. Um, because there were like Russian checkpoints, and so currently there's still a lot of people. Currently there's a lot of Ukrainian children that were kidnapped by Russian terrorists and moved to the Russian territory. There's still a lot of elderly people who remain on the Russia occupied territory, and of course they cannot go because Russians don't allow them to, and because there's basically nowhere to go. When you're 70 years old and you have no relatives in Western Ukraine or Central Ukraine or any other part of Ukraine, where do you go? You have to stay where you are. So unfortunately, that's a big problem. Planning to visit the Netherlands, I really do, and I've been to Netherlands quite a few times already this year. Basically, Netherlands is like, I don't know, half an hour drive. It's really close. It's easier for me to drive to Netherlands than driving to a neighboring, I don't know, Dusseldorf or Köln. One thing I like Netherlands for is, there's like Sunday, and on Sunday, everything is closed in Germany, literally, except for like gas stations. And if you want to go to a grocery store and buy some stuff, you have to wait for until Monday. There's no other way. But I can literally drive 30 minutes and go to Netherlands and buy some food, for example, in the grocery store. I know one very nice one, not far from me. That is why I like Netherlands. But at the same time, I completely respect Germany for this, because people have to rest sometimes, and you have rest, well-deserved rest on Sunday, and this is your right, and nobody can take it from you. Like, the more I learn about German people, the more I love them. Like, I enjoy this stuff. I enjoy the rules. They are fantastic. There is this guy. Damn it, I forgot his name, but you can Google him on a YouTube. He goes, "In Germany we don't say," and that there's like some funny meme. Like I, I'm his biggest fan. Um, okay, what is Abbas? They are Swedish. Yeah, they are Swedish. And guys, please let me know. I believe that in the UK, ABBA was kinda banned back in those days, like in the 80s or something, because they were considered kinda, uh, how to say it? I keep forgetting the words, guys. The more German words I learn, the more English words I forget, unfortunately. Calendar and Gigolo Tour is we're working on it. You gotta check Brandon's page. You will see that we're already making first steps. Good therapy to visit with Brandon and be in Stockholm. Absolutely, absolutely. And again, the air is different here because it's like north. The air is very fresh. There's Baltic Sea, and I literally want to sleep all the time, even more than in Germany, like all the time, and I sleep very, very well. Um, I'm worried about your safety. Can you please reassure me that you will be safe? There's nothing to worry about. As Brandon said, all the Russians are like either in Russia or in Donbass. So everything will be fine. Um, where is Pasha? The last thing I knew from Pasha was that he was, I believe, in the area of. Shit, I'm not sure if I should name this place. Maybe he will tell this himself. Actually, he posted on a YouTube like yesterday or day before yesterday, as far as I remember. Will there be more skits soon? I will not promise, but I thought about it. I gotta. Want to send you a super chat. So I don't do super chats on my channel. Thank you so much for your support, but I don't do super chats on my channel because I really find this kind of not fair. Because people who pay for super chats for being able to like definitely receive answer to their question, it's cool, but at the same time there are other people who don't pay and they ask questions. Like any question receives, any question deserves to be answered, in my opinion, and I'm doing my best to answer all of them. You don't have to pay money for this. You don't have to be special for this. Like anybody who asks question deserves this question to be answered, in my opinion. Sorry if I miss some of them, but I'm literally trying to do my best to answer everything. Gamla Stan, that is the name of the historical historical town, historical downtown of Stockholm. Yeah, I need to remember it. What is the tastiest dish you tried in Sweden? Well, bro, I think I already answered. It was sushi. We had big dinner with Anna and Brandon and Angelica. On Anna's birthday, we went to the downtown and had like huge dinner. I didn't make any photo because I prefer eating, rather than making pictures. But it was really, really nice. In Chicago, Aquavit and Malort get much attention in our Swedish communities, such as Andersonville. Have you tried either liquor? I didn't because I don't really drink alcohol. Maybe after the victory. But again, I tried to become an alcoholic. I failed. There was a time, and Max, my Max from the brigade, remembers those times very, very well because I was chief of the press service of the brigade, and because I was transferred from infantry to the command of the brigade to the to the headquarters. I started experiencing different challenges, which is mostly like paperwork, a lot of tasks, and a lot of stuff that, as an infantry, you don't really experience. Like being an officer is a freaking curse. So I would go home around 10, 11 p.m. I would arrive home, cook myself a dinner, grab a bottle of vodka. It was before the big invasion. Grab a bottle of vodka, have several shots, and go to sleep. And because I wake up at 4 to be able to leave my apartment at 5 and arrive to my brigade at before 8, I think I still was kind of, drunk when I woke up, and I would go to the base, and before the PT, Max would arrive, and Max would be like, "Dude, you're okay?" And I go and hug him, and I go, "Dude, alcohol is an answer to every question in this life. It brings you solution to anything. Like, it was kind of fun. So unfortunately I couldn't become an alcoholic. Maybe in the future, someday, I will try. I will make a second attempt, of course. Um, all right. What donation surprised you, made you most happy during your time there? Class, I think it was a microphone from Snow Chains. So there is one of my friends, one of the viewers, Snow Chains, who, together with his other friend, they made they customized a microphone, and through Harley, I hope he's doing well. So through Harley, they delivered this microphone to Kiev, and I still use it. I took it with me, so it's at home. I believe that was probably the best gift I ever received. Is it better to donate to Magyar or to the official Ukrainian army? Well, Magyar is in the official Ukrainian army. As I already mentioned, you can basically adopt a unit and support this unit directly through trustworthy people, like their press officers or people responsible for communicating with volunteers. This is what organizations usually do. They work directly with one or several units, and they know people, they work with them, and they support them, and this is the best way to support some specific unit. We had hi Jacob, I can absolutely notice you. Thank you so much for joining our stream today. We had several volunteers supporting my brigade, 4th Operative Brigade of the National Guard, Mighty Hostomel Brigade, also known as Rubizh, and this is how it works. You have one specific unit or several units, and you work with them directly. Uh, did Starsky see any Russians in Sweden? Probably I did, but they were disguised. They don't really like to show that they're Russians these days for some unknown reason. What is your impression of Sweden so far? The people. Swedes are amazing. Swedes are friendly, open people, and I love them. Like they are fantastic. Seriously, all the people I met in Sweden so far, they are great. France, France is the place that I will definitely visit because France is not far from me, so I can go there as soon as I have such an opportunity. I have to service my car first. As soon as it's ready, I will go there. Did you hear any funny orc propaganda in Sweden? No, Mitch, I didn't, but I saw like that, on a thumbnail to the stream, you can see this sticker, fuck Putin, and it's an actual picture I took in Sweden a couple of days ago. Let me check if I can show it to you. Oh my god, it's not on this PC, unfortunately. Anyways, it was like actually on a street. It was kind of funny and cool. Do you play World of Tanks? I really don't. I don't really like shooters. I like simulators, but World of Tanks, it's not a simulator. Are many Swedish women forcing kisses on you? Bobo, not too many because I am not a popular YouTuber. Arthur Ray has like 2 times more subscribers than me, and like I don't consider myself a like popular YouTuber. Um, it's a I mentioned this 2 days ago to Angelica that being me sucks because I would dream to be like gamer streaming on a YouTube and Twitch and stuff like that, doing something that brings people joy and happiness. But my YouTube channel became popular, not popular, but known, okay, because of the tragedy. And that's why, it didn't become known due to some achievements. It didn't become popular because I did something good. It became popular due to the tragedy, due to the invasion, and that's why it is bad being me in this regard. Can older people with nowhere to go still be able to travel to the EU as a refugee? Jacob, absolutely, they can do that. But there's a problem. Like elderly people in Ukraine, they don't really like to travel, especially people from smaller towns, especially people from villages. Ukrainians nowadays are protected in the EU. There's 24th chapter that protects Ukrainians. They have temporary shelter on the territory of European Union. They can work here and live here as long as this protection is active. Uh, but elderly people, in most cases, they cannot travel. They don't have finances, but also they don't really want to travel. Elderly people who live their whole life in a village like Krasnohorivka, for example, or like in Kurachovo, Donetsk Oblast, they don't really have anywhere to go in Ukraine other than Donetsk Oblast, and of course they would never travel to another country, even if it's Poland, without anybody who would accompany them. So that's why it doesn't happen often. That's the reality, unfortunately. Did you try the real Swedish meatballs, not the IKEA ones? Andrew, I only tried the ones in the IKEA, unfortunately. Um, did you meet any Ukrainians in Stockholm? Yes, I did during the Monday meeting. There were a lot of Ukrainians. There was this boy singing at the stage. It was really touching and really emotional. Uh, After Ukraine has won slash liberated, you will stand with other former Soviet states against Russia. Thomas, not only we will stand against Russia, we will also stand against any other totalitarian regime that poses danger for the civilized world. And we are talking about states like North Korea, we are talking about China, we're talking about Iran, Syria, Cuba, and other places. So we will keep fighting and protecting democratic world because it needs protection. We will keep fighting against propaganda. Of course, propaganda, for example, spread in Iran or China, you cannot compare it to Russian propaganda, but at the same time, they adopt a lot of shit from Russians. They copy paste a lot of their techniques, and we will definitely be fighting against that. Have you been to Gotland Island? Gotland Island? I don't think so. But I've been to ferry from Germany to Denmark, and it was so cool. Like this huge ship, it was for the first time in my life I've been to the ferry. It was insane. But at the same time, it was really cool because it's fast, reliable. There's like hundreds of cars can fit on board, and it only takes like 45 minutes to get to the other side of the channel. So it was nice. How is your Swedish speaking? I only know how to say tak because it's basically the same as Ukrainian yes. But I'm really happy that I can say at least one word, and this is thank you. And this is something I will always be saying to Swedish people. Thank you so much for supporting us. Tak. Where do you get your hair styled? I think we go to the same salon. So I do my hair styled at this very expensive barber shop because they have this very cool shampoo that makes my hair long and curly like back in those days, and silky, and it gives my hair a lot of this volume. It's voluminous. It looks voluminous. So there is a place. I will send you a private message, okay? Because it's my secret place. Where? When do you think Ukraine will take Crimea and win this war? I want a beach party. Jenny, I'm not a general and I cannot predict future, unfortunately. But at the same time, this is actually the most popular question that was asked by Ukrainians all over Ukraine, like whether I was in Kiev or in Donbass, since 2015. Whenever people see somebody wearing uniform, they would come up to me and ask me same question over and over again: when will this end? and I don't know what to answer. I don't have such answers, unfortunately. Що там по русні? Русня страждає, русня страждає у Челябінську, русня страждає під Вовчанськом. Коротше, русня страждає, і це дуже добре. Я так вважаю. Я люблю, коли русня страждає. Це прекрасно. Has anyone made a list of units that we can donate to? I'm interested in supporting the 43rd Mechanized Brigade. You can definitely do that. And if you're watching my channel, you can also consider supporting 4th Operative Brigade of the National Guard, also known as Rubij, which is my native brigade. And, last year, while I was still in service, I would always redirect people who want to support my brigade to people that were responsible for this. But now I consider that as a civilian, I can also fundraise for my brigade, and I will be keeping in touch with Max. And Max is currently collecting all the list of necessary stuff that my brigade needs right now. The guys keep fighting, and I will be supporting my brigade as well, of course. So 4th Operative Brigade, National Guard, Hostomel, those are the guys. Are you going to watch the Olympics? Maybe. I'm a big fan of boxing, but I'm not a big fan of watching sports in general. Unfortunately, there is no bodybuilding competition. That is something I would definitely watch, probably. Is the NAFO Sniffing Brigade associated with the Ukrainian army? So, NAFO 69th Sniffing Brigade is a charity organization that was founded by Estonian volunteer Ragnar Sas. He has several offices in Ukraine because generally he's IT god, okay? And he has several offices in Ukraine. It's Lift 99. And those guys, as soon as the Russian invasion started, they started fundraising for trucks for the Ukrainian army. And I believe they already brought more than 200 trucks to the Ukrainian armed forces and Ukrainian National Guard and security service and different units of the Ukrainian defense sector. So those guys are doing amazing job. What makes them different from other guys is that they find some specific models, which is, I don't remember exactly, basically like pickup trucks, specific pickup trucks around Europe. They do this like maintenance. They get tires for those cars and they deliver them to Ukraine. So they also do the paint job and stuff. And guys receive good trucks with good tires. Sometimes they also come with armor. Sometimes they also come with night vision for the driver. So this is something that makes them different from other guys because, of course, Ukrainian soldiers at the front lines, they will be happy to receive like any car, like old Zhiguli or Moskvich, Lada also work. But unfortunately, cars at the Ukrainian front line don't survive for a long period of time. And if that's some area where we have some intensive combat, car may survive like 2 weeks because of fragments and because of absence of the roads at the Donbass. Because those roads, it's very generous to call them roads. And it's not like they were bombed, they were always like that. Have you been to any of the other Scandinavian countries? Greetings from Norway. Hello, hello, Norway. Haven't been to any of them besides Sweden and Denmark so far. Literally because I traveled to Sweden through Denmark. But I do really like to visit Finland, of course, and Norway. Maybe next time when my car is serviced, I will definitely go and have a tour around Scandinavian countries as well. Which country has the hottest women? Like I refuse to answer this question because I want to live. Okay. What is the first name of the soldier that has his cat in a harness in his videos? Oh, first name of soldier. I cannot answer this question, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Is there a village in Ukraine where the inhabitants speak Swedish? I've never heard about it. I heard that we had a lot of villages even during the Soviet era where we had a lot of like native German population. Actually, Kharkiv was partially built by Germans because we had a lot of German natives living in that area. We had a lot of Greeks, we have a lot of Jewish people, we have a lot of Georgian people, Roman, Moldav, people from Moldova, people from Hungary, of course. We have a lot of Poles. So quite a lot of those. Crimean Tatars, of course. Though, like Ukraine has insane amount of people from like all kinds of origin. We have a lot of national minorities. We have like national minorities, ethnic minorities, that's the word. So Ukraine speaks basically all sorts of languages, except probably for Latin languages. We don't have a lot of those. Swedish speaking people. So Ukraine generally has a lot of Swedish blood. Okay, we have a lot of people with Swedish roots for a very simple reason. There were two guys who ruled Kiev early before first millennia AD. There were two guys called Askold and Dir who came from Sweden and ruled Kiev, basically Kiev Rus, for quite a while. And we have quite some amount of Swedish blood in us. Does anybody remember the Belarusian with the mustache? Yes, his last name was Ivanov, as far as I remember, and his call sign was Yankee. And as far as I remember, he's... I think he's still okay. I didn't hear for quite a while anything from him, but I saw him in several TV shows here in on a Ukrainian television. Are IKEA meatballs self-assemble ones? You have to assemble them with this special key that goes with the package. I tried. Do you have Stockholm syndrome? If this is about, becoming a fan of ABBA, then yes, I definitely have one. Are you enjoying watching Olga and Cole panic over Kamala Harris? I generally enjoy watching them panic or suffering, either or. I don't care, you know. We talked with Angelica today regarding the dam that collapsed in Chelyabinsk, and we came to conclusion that whenever some shit happens there, we go just like, oh, cool, because whatever shit happens there, they fucking deserve it, and I don't give a shit. They freaking do. Anything that happens there is justified after all the shit they've done to the world and to Ukrainians specifically. This is my personal opinion. When are you coming to Australia to visit your family? We need you here. Oh my god, I dream about it. I really do. I missed my mother. I missed my bro. I want to finally see my nephew and my niece. And of course, I dream of going to Australia, but I need to find time and funds for this because it's really freaking far away. 20-hour flight is something very, very. It requires a lot of bravery. Okay, I spent 30 hours in the bus going to Italy and from Italy, and I need to have some rest, after this. How are you, Starsky? Thank you so much. I'm more or less fine. Cannot complain at all. Will you be writing a book about the Hostomel airport? I can do that, even though it will be, like a very, very short book because the combat continued like 2 hours probably. But I can definitely do that. I can help other people who want to write a book about Hostomel. They can basically open my video or my streams about Hostomel. I can do that. Also, I found some footage that I still have from Hostomel. I didn't show it much, but I can help with that either. Okay. Hey Starsky, did you ever fought with the International Legion? Max saw them in the area of Bakhmut. Max saw those guys. So he had such experience. I was mainly in the area of Kiev, Bakhmut. I've been to Chasiv Yar with Max, but have never seen them close. Okay. Anders asks, why are you a civilian? Because I spent 9 years serving my country, and there's guys fighting for Ukraine who, when in 2015 I was sitting at the observation point in some S of Donbass, asking myself, where are all the patriots? Where are all the brave Ukrainian men willing to protect Ukraine from Russian invaders and their hybrid army? Back in those days, quite a few of the guys that currently fight at the front, they were chilling in like Malta or Italy or Spain, and now we kind of switched places. That's reason number one. And I don't believe there's a lot of people who served as many years as me, okay, currently fighting. And reason number two is I started the Propaganda Study Institute to help democratic European countries to combat propaganda that is waged all around the world. And this is something really, really important and something I really, really like to do because I have experience. I have master's degree in communications. I studied Russian propaganda. I know how it works, and I hope it answers your question. But at the same time, I'm registered as a reservist. I can be mobilized whenever such order is issued and go to Ukraine basically anytime. Can you speak Russian? Da, I can, but I don't really like to. But at the same time, like Russian is just a language, and the less I speak Russian, the more I forget Russian. Not like I enjoy speaking this language. I still have this reaction, whenever I hear Russian language, it's like shoot on sound, shoot towards the sound. How do we get a Ukrainian language learning 101? I don't know how to answer this one. Wouldn't be a fantastic idea to send Trump to the front? I think it would be generally a fantastic idea to at least invite him to Ukraine, to Kiev, if he could visit places like Bucha, Irpin, Hostomel airports, Izum, Kharkiv. That would be great because, a lot of his followers, unfortunately, are still convinced that whatever happens in Ukraine is basically Hollywood, shit like that. They really, really need to hear information from him, him personally, okay? And in order to make it possible, I think it would be great if Donald Trump could visit Ukraine and see everything with his own eyes. That would help a lot, I believe. I might be wrong, but I really think so. How was the ABBA Museum? I will tell you tomorrow, okay? Because I haven't been there yet, and we have meeting tomorrow, 5 p.m. near the ABBA Museum. I will be really, really happy to see everybody. Okay, guys. Did ABBA kidnap Starsky? I would not mind. Artem Pivovarov. Artem Pivovarov, not like I was his biggest fan, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah, he's okay. What does suka mean? Ukrainian soldiers are always saying it. Basically, it's like a bitch, you know. And we're reaching the last questions. Hi Starsky, how are you? Summer, I'm fine. I cannot complain. Considering that I can go to sleep and don't have to wake up in the night because of the air alerts, I think I feel freaking fantastic comparing to everybody else. So I cannot complain. One thing that I almost got used to is hearing the sound of jets, like Boeings. Almost got used to this because in Ukraine, when you hear anything like flying in the sky, usually it kills. So this is something that I almost got used to. What was your civilian job? Were you always only in the army? No, so since 2006, when I graduated from the Kyiv National University of Culture and Art, specifically the Institute for Socio-Cultural Studies, where I studied public relations, I'm a certified public relations manager. So after I graduated, I worked in the project of the United States Agency for International Development called Municipal Budget Reform Project. It was extremely boring, but very much important project, but extremely boring. Then I worked in the World Bank Group for a while. The office in Kyiv, and the same office was responsible for Moldova and Belarus and Ukraine. And after that, I worked in a different project of the United States Agency for International Development called Municipal Heating Project. Again, very important and very boring, but important. And then I worked, my God, TV channel Ukraine, then strategic communications agency called Key Communications. Then it was, what was after that? Publicity Creating, another very, very popular Ukrainian communications agency that had like numerous clients, numerous partners in like big business. Mostly they did B2B, which I didn't really enjoy doing, but again, it was a very interesting experience, something new to learn, you know, and several other agencies. I also worked at the TV channel Football in Ukraine. Never liked football much. Like, okay, I confess, I'm not a big fan of football at all. I tried to become a fan of football as hard as I tried to become an alcoholic. I failed both times. And then there was a revolution in Ukraine, and it was a lifetime ago because it was like a completely different life. And then 9 years in the army, almost 2 years with the police battalion, and 7 years with the National Guard, with the 4th Operative Brigade. I would never expect to work so many years at the same place, but it was a tremendous experience. It was insane. Okay, what else? What do you know about UFOs in Ukraine? UFOs in Ukraine. I've heard from different people that there were quite a few sightings in the area of Chernobyl back in those days, but I don't really believe in UFOs. There is a Fermi paradox, and according to this paradox, there is a really tiny chance that we might meet extraterrestrial life anytime in the closest future, in the closest perspective, for different reasons. Reason number one is that space is expanding like crazy. There are literally galaxies that move away from each other with the speed that is smaller than the speed of light, like slower than the speed of light, but because they both move away from each other, the light from those galaxies cannot reach those each other. So we will not likely meet other guys from outer space. The only type of UFO you can nowadays see in Ukraine and sometimes on the territory of Russia is Ukrainian flying objects, things like Bober, the kamikaze drone, or things like that. So that's concerning the UFO. Are you sure there will be no surströmming? Not in the next decade, I guarantee. My jacket, you remember the surströmming challenge last year, Brandon hugged me when we were saying goodbye. Brandon hugged me, and my leather jacket still freaking smells like surströmming. So until it reminds me about those days, no surströmming in my life. Did you say if there are 6 tunnels there? Well, I saw several tunnels, and there's quite a few tunnels, by the way, in Sweden. But I haven't seen much sex in those tunnels, unfortunately. Maybe I will be looking, better for sex in those tunnels, but nothing as of now. Ever watched Starsky and Hutch? I kind of tried, but not a big fan. Okay, guys, we are approaching the end of the stream. We made it in almost 2 hours. As always, thank you so much for staying with me. Thank you so much for supporting my country. Thank you for supporting Ukrainian people who will always who will never forget about your support and will always be grateful for. Oh my God, I'm so bad with English today. And thank you so much for caring for democracy and freedom. Thank you for being decent. Thank you for being friendly. And thank you for being the best. We'll see you next time, hopefully on Monday when I'm home. And as always, guys, be safe. Goodbye.